Hello students, today we'll be doing the Hadoop HDFS Basics Lab, which is part of Big Data Analytics in the engineering colleges. So let's start with the lab. So the first thing you will need is the machine, and so you can see these are basically 8 machine files. You need to stitch them into one file. It should look something like this, and you can download these files from the internet, right? So you can go to bit.ly bit.ly/tcoe student, right? So this will take you to the drive link, and sorry, you should not be here. This is the instructions for the lab. So you should find a BDA lab journal. So you need the instructions as to what steps you have to follow. So this one journal has all the experiments, and it contains only the commands. If you need to know how to install or create a machine, you need to follow this separate file over here, 01_lab_Hadoop basics. So this first page has Hadoop HDFS steps. So we'll be doing some basic HDFS basic commands in regards to files, right? HDFS is Hadoop distributed file system. So your big data is stored in the form of file system across multiple nodes using the master name node and the slave data nodes. So we'll look into that. But as regards to the actual machine, you can get it from the internet. It's available on GitHub. So here you can see the link, GitHub HDFS Labs. So if you visit that link, you should get a link to download the machine. So every lab is a separate machine, separate software. Mostly some softwares are common, but you'll have to download them separately. So here you can see Hadoop HDFS operations, and you can download. You can copy this link, and once you copy this link, you'll be led to a drive where the machine files are, and you can download those machines. So you can see all these machines are there. So as soon as you download, you need to you should have something like this in your folder. There should be no other file because you need to stitch them. So what you have to do is, first you need to open 7-zip. Right, you can copy this folder wherever this file is. So this is a folder I'm copying, and start 7-zip, and you can copy the folder over here. And once you copy the folder, you will see all the files. So here you will have an option of selecting any one file and right clicking and clicking combine. So I will create a new folder over here, test, so that just to show you how the files get, how it is stitched, right? So once I select the folder and I click OK, so you need to remember I selected only one file. It will automatically stitch everything else. So you have to say click combine files. You can see the command combine files, and once you click, you select the directory. I have already created the directory, so I'll type test. So once you do that, it will try to stitch everything into one file. So you see that. So now I will pause this because I don't want to stitch. I already have a stitched file. I'll cancel this. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes, but it will create a temporary small file. So if you see, a small 464 MB file has been created already, but when you actually stitch everything, the file will be very big. So you will get a file size of something like 8 GB. So this is what we need for our Hadoop experiment. So as soon as this machine is available, the OVA file, you can start VirtualBox. So this is your VirtualBox, and you can click on File, Import Appliance, and import the machine. So in order to import the machine, so I'll go to that folder wherever my machine is. So I have my machine in the Hadoop folder, so I click on this and I click open, and so it is picking up. So I need to make sure my C drive does not have enough space, so I will save it in G drive where there is enough space, and click finish. So once I do that, it will try to create the machine with all the required softwares. So while this is getting imported, we can look at the journal, and so here you see for this particular experiments we need Hadoop and Ubuntu. So it's already installed, so as soon as you start the machine, Hadoop will be there, your setup. And so we want to save the time and focus on the concepts rather than on installation, and that's why this machine has been created. So let's wait. So while this is going on, the virtual box is getting its 28%. Let us go through some of the instructions. So what we are doing exactly, what are the steps, so first we are learning how to start the DFS system. So if you say has been in, you have to go to the Hadoop folder, so something like cd, so in my case it is Hadoop -3.4.0 from the root folder. So wherever you have installed Hadoop, you can go there, and this is one way of starting the DFS. And other ways, simply you can type the command start -all.sh. If you have set up everything properly, it should work. So for now we have this command, and then the second command that we are trying to do is, so you need to understand from the conceptual perspective, right, how Hadoop is, right. So if this is Hadoop, right, so let's say this is your box machine. So my machine name maybe James, right, and once you go to the Windows Explorer, you see all the files, right. So this is a file system, you see files and everything. So an example of the file system is your Windows Explorer. So I'm giving you a little bit of theory so that your concepts are clear. So here is a file explorer. I open this, and here in this you see all the folders, and whichever folder you click, there are files. So this is a file system. So you need to understand that Hadoop is also one type of file system. It also has directories and files, and secondly, it is distributed, which means you can distribute this file system. Now in this case, this file system is only on one laptop, but in Hadoop is distributed file system in the sense you can have 10 machines, right, and you can distribute the files on. Now there will be one file system but many machines, so all the machines are called nodes. So in this case we are using we are running the Hadoop only on one machine, but you can also run Hadoop as a single file system on all the machines, on multiple machines, so that your data is distributed, and every machine will have its own storage space, maybe let's say 1 terabyte, and 10 machines will have 10 terabytes. So you can, as much of storage space you have got, that much of data you can store. So Hadoop ideally is created internally, right. So this is, let us assume this is Hadoop inside, so I have Ubuntu machine or Windows machine, you can say. In this case, let us say this is Ubuntu machine. So inside this there will be Hadoop, and inside this there will be a file system, something like this. Right. So inside this there can be file system. So you can have a file something like, let's say, part-n-000, something like that. So all the files are stored in the Hadoop file system, and so this is your HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system. There is another component of Hadoop which is called the MapReduce, which processes your data. You want to take the sum of the data, count of the data, or you want to do some analysis, machine learning. There can be any number of things, but essentially what we are doing in today's experiment is Hadoop HDFS basics. How to take the file. Let's say I have a file, my local file over here, right? So my local file is in the local folder. So you need to remember, now you need to understand that this is what you are seeing outside, which is in this case this is your local system. So you will be working, experimenting, taking this file and putting it over here inside Hadoop. So once you shift, you will get this a copy of local file over here. Then what we'll do, we'll rename this file to HDFS folder, HDFS file. So we need to create a HDFS folder also. So in that case, we might create a folder, my HDFS folder, right, inside Hadoop. So here you will create a folder. So the line is too thin, and let me draw a straight line, and let me draw a blue line just to indicate that we are inside Hadoop. So inside this we create a my HDFS folder, something like this in this experiment, and let us delete this for the time being. So what the first step that we want to do, take this file, my local file, from outside, from your local machine, and put it inside my local file. Then you want to take this file and rename it inside itself to my HDFS file or something, right? Then you want to take this file and copy to your local box over here. So basically you're working with file system, you're working with files, and this is the experiments that we are going to perform today. So I hope this diagram is understood as to what we are doing in the Hadoop HDFS lab, so that you get a feeling of your file system. So having done that, let's see where your virtual box is reached. So you see your virtual box Hadoop has been created, and we can immediately start. So let's start the machine. So when the machine starts, it will ask you whether you want to switch the mode. So this is your scaled mode, in the sense the screen will look as big as your monitor. So let it start. Okay, so the machine has started. So let us go with our first step. So as you know, so let me go back to the diagram. So first thing that we need to do in this step is start Hadoop, right? So as I told you, you need to start this software. So you are inside Ubuntu, this has started, machine has started. Now you have to start Hadoop. Only then you can play with the file system inside. So let us go and start Hadoop. So let us open terminal. So a lot of work happens inside the terminal, because this is a Ubuntu system, which is kind of a Linux version. So in this, first thing is you type ls and see, like a directories, whatever is there. So here you can see, as I told you, Hadoop 3.4.0 is already installed. So you go inside that folder, Hadoop dash 3.4.0, and you inside the folder. In this folder already you got in your sbin, right? So inside this, your program to start HDFS is already there. So you can type the command sbin /start DFS. So now you have to remember, this will start only the HDFS system. Hadoop also has yarn, and so it does not start yarn automatically. So in DFS there are two components, name node and data node. So that is what it will start. So let me start the DFS, distributed file system. So this will start your Hadoop. So let's give some time. So you see, that's the command starting. That's what we did. So here you see the name node, which is your master node. So this has information about all the machines that are part of Hadoop. Hadoop is a you can add as many machines as you want as part of your network cluster, and it will distribute your data across all the nodes. It will not only distribute the data, but it will also divide your data into chunks of data and put one chunk here, one chunk there. So such kind of technique helps you to make sure data is always available. It makes copies of data. It creates 3 copies of the same data and distributes on different nodes, so that if one node, if the data on one node is lost, then the replicated data on the other node will still be available. So availability is very high. You can scale it. Scale means you can increase the number of machines as much as you want. So once this is done, you can type JPS just to verify what all is running. So you see, name node, data node, and secondary name node is running. At least one name node and one data node should run. Secondary name node is your backup of name node. In case name node machine goes down, your secondary name node will take over as a master node. So since this command does not has JPS, let me type it anyway. Okay. So now next step is to, now that the Hadoop has started, let us create a folder inside it, right? So it says sudo is like administrative. So command is bin /HDFS DFS dash. So from here onwards the Linux command starts. But where does this Linux command execute? Inside the HDFS file system. So as I told you, let me go back to the diagram. When you run the command that way, the command executes inside the file system. If you run the command in Ubuntu, for example, now this is your Ubuntu file system. Here if you say ls, you will see the files of the local file system, which is your Ubuntu. So here if I say make dir, it will create the folder in your local file system. That is, if I create it will create here. But if I go inside, so Hadoop. So how do I go inside Hadoop file system? By typing this much. If I type sudo bin HDFS DFS dash, it goes inside file system and it will create the folder inside. Okay. So let me maybe start fetch so that I can copy the command faster. Let me access that file from inside Ubuntu. I am not able to copy from outside the VirtualBox. So let me copy it from here. So let us wait for it to open. Okay, so my browser is started. So let me, it's a little slow. So as I told you, I go to that same folder to get the commands, and so that I can copy it very easily and time will be saved. So I go to this folder and fetch the same file. And I open the BDA journal. So as I told you, this is a lab which is part of Big Data Analytics BDA, which is taught in the engineering colleges, in computer department and AI/ML department and even IT. So you might be having these labs in your colleges. So if you have this machine ready, it is easier to do this lab. So it's transferring data, means it's trying to download the file. So okay, so we have a command over here, and we'll right click and copy, or press Ctrl C, it should probably work. So now that I've copied, I go back to my terminal, and so now this is your local file system. So if I click mkdir, it'll create in the local file system. But here what I'm saying, sudo bin DFS stands for distributed file system dash. So this will go inside Hadoop, and what it will do, it will create a directory, make directory mkdir dash p slash HDFS folder. So first we want to create a folder, we have to learn how to create a folder inside HDFS. This is how do we do. So as soon as you do that, it will ask you the machine password, because you type sudo. Sudo is asking, always it's a privileged administrative access, so you have to provide the machine password, so which is TCOE 2024 hash. It is mentioned on GitHub also, the password, so you can see there what is the password. So as soon as you do that, it will try to create a folder, and there was no error, right? So what is the next command? Now the thing is, how do we know whether the folder was created or not, right? So we have to verify. So you can list all the files in HDFS and see whether your folder is existing. So let me go back over here. I don't need to come back over here, the file is already here. So you can list, again this is a Linux command which will run inside your Hadoop. So again, if you notice, sudo bin HDFS DFS dash. So until here means I am entering Hadoop system, file system, and from here Linux command starts. So I am just simply saying list me all the files and folders inside your root folder, which is your slash. I know it's given front slash over here, you see. So once I do that, it will show me the folder which I created over here. So which is a proof that I ran the command inside. Now is the HDFS folder outside? If I do ls over here outside, is the HDFS folder here? No. The HDFS folder is inside. If I do ls slash, it doesn't give me the, it gives me the folder of the local file system, not the Hadoop file system. So you have to be understand that. So now that so we have created a folder. So that is our first task, how to create a folder. Now we want to create a local file in the local folder. So so you can, it says cd local folder, means it is already existing. So you can go to a local folder. So ls local folder I cannot see. So let's say I'm outside cd ls. Is a local folder here? No. So let me go back inside Hadoop. I don't want to come out of Hadoop. So this, let me create a local folder here. Oh, there's a local folder here already, you see. But for our purpose, let us create a so local folder is already here, so I can go inside the local folder, right? cd space local folder, enter, and I do ls, I'll get a list of, so my local file is already existing over here, right? So if I want to read this my local file, what is the inside? I can say cat my local file. So it says there is a text called test. You see this? A test called test. So I'll clear the screen now so that I get more space. So what do we have? So we have a my local file inside which a text called test is written. Now my task is to take this file and put it inside that HDFS folder which I created, right? So if I go back to my diagram, there is this local file which I want to put it where? Inside this folder. So what is the command for that? That is what we are going to see. So let us go back to our commands. So we have already, where local file should be used only if you want to create the local file, but since the local file is already existing, so for example, let me just show you a simple example of how to create a local file. So I'm in the local folder, or let's say I want to create a local folder itself. So I can say make dir my local folder 2. So this will create a folder. If you do ls, you'll see your local folder 2. So where is your local folder 2? It's here. Then you can go inside local folder 2 and you can create a file called local file 2. You can say my local file 2 or whatever name you want to give, my local file 2. So this will open up the window. So here you have to first press, if you want to edit this file, first press escape. So I clicked escape, then I press I and I start typing this is a good day, right? Then if I want to save this file, again press escape, I press shift colon. So you see the right underneath shift colon sign has come. Then I press WQ. Sorry, it's I think exclamation mark WQ. So let me verify this. So plus, so it says shift plus colon, right? And just WQ should work, and then press enter key. Okay. So let me go back and WQ. See right at the bottom, I typed WQ and enter, and this will create my, if I do ls, local file is, if I want to read this file, cat my local file 2. Cat is like reading the file. So it will just show you what is inside the file. So this is how you create a folder and file in case. So let me not come out, and now you have local folder and local folder 2. Okay. So now that you have this file, I want to copy the file from local folder to HDFS folder. So that is the folder which I created initially, right? I created HDFS folder. Outside there is local folder, and outside where there is a local folder, there is a file called my local file. So I will use this command, copy from local. If you do you see this, copy from local command, and where local, you copy the file from local folder, my local file, to where, to HDFS folder, which is inside your HDFS. So copy from local command is used to copy the file from your local file system to HDFS file system. Okay, so I need to copy. Okay, here I have this command. Right click, copy, right click, paste. So remember, this is copy from local command. From where you want to copy, local folder, my local file, which is your local folder, to HDFS folder, which is part of your Hadoop. So I do that, and if the file is there, it will copy. So how do we verify whether file is copied or not? Again, do ls, but this time we'll do ls on the HDFS folder. Okay, it's here they have not put HDFS command. So how do we, if you want to see the files in your HDFS folder, how do you do that? First, you have to go inside your HDFS, which is this command. Then type ls space /HDFS folder. If the file is copied there, you will see the file. So let us execute that command. So right click, copy, and paste. So here you see it shows in HDFS folder there is a my local file. If you want to read this file, also you can read the file. So we already know what is the command that we use to read, cat command. So again I will go back, and just for benefit of the students, I will put that command over here. So again we go inside HDFS, till here we go inside HDFS. Now we type the Linux command, which is cat /HDFS folder /my local file, right? So let me repeat the command, -cat space HDFS folder /my local file. So this is the file I want to read. So this is inside Hadoop though, right? Remember that. So you see it reads your my local file, which has got test already inside. So everything was, you copied the file successfully from local folder to your Hadoop folder. So now that we have done this, let us do the next command. So we practiced how to copy the file between local folder and HDFS folder. Now I want to rename the file inside the local, which is the file inside your Hadoop. It was inside Hadoop. So let us go back to the diagram. So essentially, okay, what you have done is you have actually, you copied my local file over here, right? My local file over here. So we want to take this file and rename this as HDFS file, because just to show you how to rename, we are doing this command. So you want to rename this. So how do you rename this? You rename this using the mv command. You see, mv. So mv command says take this file HDFS folder my local file and give this new name, my HDFS file, in the same folder. So let us copy this command mv and we'll execute the mv command. Mv also means move, so you can also use to not only rename but move the files. So here you see the mv command. Your first parameter to the mv command is the file that you want to rename, and second parameter is the new name that you want to give to the file. So let us go to the end and click enter. Right, so it has renamed the file, but how do we verify whether the file was renamed? Again, use the ls command. So again, I'm not sure if it is, I have that command, so it's not there. So let me again, using the ls command, I can verify if the file was renamed properly. Which folder I want to do, see the directory listing on HDFS folder. So that is the command. So let us go back to Hadoop and verify what all files are there inside. So as you see, the file has been renamed to my HDFS file. Earlier it was my local file and now it is my HDFS file. So that another success command we have executed. Now what we want to do, whatever file is there inside Hadoop, we want to copy it back to the local folder. So actually we want to copy it to local. So earlier command was copy from local, this is copy to local. So we'll take this command so let us clear the screen again. So it says copy to local. Which file to copy? HDFS folder, my HDFS file. Where to copy? To copy to local folder, my HDFS file with this name. Remember, this is a local folder we want to copy to, and in that we already have my local file we have, but we don't have HDFS file. So when I do that, that file should be moved to local folder. So if you want to understand from the diagram perspective, what we are doing is we're taking this file and we're putting it back in the local folder, right? And that is what we have done. So let us go back and verify whether the local folder means I can simply, let's say if I do ls, there's a local folder. So if I do ls space / local folder, I should be able to see the files in that. Sorry, I need to put a dot. So you see there are two files. This was the earlier file, my local file, and this is my HDFS file which was just copied. If I do cat on my HDFS file, it is the same file. Oh, it's inside the local folder. So you can say cat dot / local folder / yeah. So we have successfully copied the file to local folder. So how did I verify? I typed ls. I want it in blue, so I can say ls space dot / local folder. So you should get the output for that, right? Okay, now what we want to do is we want to delete this file inside the HDFS folder. So the command for that is rm command. Rm is like remove command. So let us go ahead and do that. Again we go back, and this time we run the rm command. So this should remove the file, my HDFS file, from where? From the Hadoop folder, Hadoop file system. It says over here deleted HDFS folder, my HDFS file. And how do we verify that? We can verify by checking the HDFS folder listing. So I type ls space slash HDFS folder. So this should give me the list of files in HDFS folder, and you should not find any files over there. See, now no files can be seen, which means it was deleted successfully. So I can type this command also here. Actually we want maybe let's have everything, or maybe just copy this command down. Right, and in the end you can since you have done all the basics of file system of creating the file, moving the file, renaming the file, deleting the file. So this is your HDFS basics. So how do you stop DFS or your Hadoop? You can your HDFS can be stopped as stop dash dfs.sh, and this should stop your name node, it should stop your data nodes, and so that is all in your lab for now. And that is how we perform the Hadoop HDFS basics lab. Thank you.